what's up? This is Josiah with another video. I had an interview with fellow traveler Jay Essence Journey in which she said, you can make a life in Africa, but, and here's the main part, you will have to fight to make your life in Africa. And you will definitely have to do that abroad in general. But I'm here in Zanzibar, rainy season. Jay Essence is based in Kigali, Rwanda. I lived there for just shy of a year in 2022. Been living in Zanzibar the past 6 months as of this video. And I was thinking about what Jay said when we were talking about her journey from the United States, like myself, to Africa. And she said, you will have to fight to make your life in Africa. It's not easy living in Africa. Not easy at all, but it is worth it. And so when she said you have to fight, I thought about tools, or I guess weapons, that could help you in your battle to cultivate your life. The alliteration is all starting with the letter R. Reframing, research, and resources. I will also include about 3 clips from my interview with Jay Essence here and there throughout this video for context about those 3 qualities you need, as well as it'll serve as an introductory to her as a resource that you found in your research after you reframed your mind to want to live abroad, maybe somewhere in Africa.
I believe that at least with Rwanda, they have the leadership and vision to be what we as Black Americans dreamed we could be. We know what we are. We know the beauty that we possess. We've never had the parameters in place to authentically drive those goals. And I do feel that at least Rwanda has these parameters in place that says, hey, you have a dream, come over here. Starting a business is free. What can you do? What can you be? What can you innovate? You're still going to have to fight now. You still going to have to do some stuff, but you can at least prove what you want to be.
So the first tool or weapon in your fight is reframing. You'll have to reframe. I had to reframe my attitude and my emotions to begin to build a life. I had to reframe my attitude in order to live in Africa. Fears, doubts, anxieties, depression, because I wasn't living in the familiar anymore. I am a storyteller. I've worked as a production assistant on television shows in Los Angeles. I had a whole idea for my life, and then it changed. When I discovered that I just wanted something different, and I thought living abroad would cause that to happen. One included just safety. And it was part of my why, part of me and my mom and dad and brothers' why to come here. That was one of the reasons. And we wanted a new quality of life, and we wanted some different things. So we had to reframe our attitude, because a lot of people, don't get me wrong, there are great things about the United States where I come from. There are amazing advantages, conveniences, innovations, whatever. But there are also some amazing things and great things on the continent of Africa. I've only been to 3 countries so far. I can't wait to see the other, 52? Because I think there are 54, is my math right? 54 countries in all. But I had to reframe my mind that no lions and hyenas and anacondas and python, there's not danger around every corner. The news media would have you believe there is danger around every corner. The news media would have you believe you can't create a business. That goes back to Jay Essence, who we will talk about in a few minutes. The media would have you believe you can't create a life, that you can't get medical care and attention coming from one country and going to the next. It's just not true. And I had to begin to reframe, to pray, to meditate, and then eventually research and find resources to support what it is that I wanted to do. I'm still doing that. I'm still reframing all the time. I'm still unlearning a lot of things. that I thought were true about travel, about the continent of Africa, about Rwanda when I was there, about Tanzania and Zanzibar being here now. And it takes time. But if you do that, things begin to become easier and a little bit more manageable. So the next thing is research. After you reframe your mind, or after you begin the process of reframing your mind, your attitudes about traveling to Africa, you have to begin to research. You have to become creative about the things that you want to know, the answers that you seek. Books, YouTube, podcasts, vlogs like this one. I might be missing some things, but there are a lot of there's a lot of documentation out there from boots on the ground, people boots on the ground in the countries that you're interested in, whether it's on the continent of Africa or somewhere else. But you have to begin to research, and it depends on what you find. You might ask, how much money do I need to move from such and such state to such and such country? You can frame the question like that in Google, but just be ready. You may not get the answer that you're looking for. And you may have to begin refocusing your question. You may have to edit your question. You may have to whittle things down to what it is that you really want to know. You may not be able to just have a ballpark figure per se in the example of funds, because your quality of life may be such that you need a very specific amount, and that's okay. But you have to know that about yourself. So yes, you will have to research and be creative with your research. Customize and tailor it for your experience. You won't be sorry.
I needed space to figure me and find me out. A lot of people are more political or anything. At that point in time, I was just, in a way, screaming for space to be me.
Okay.
To not have to live up to a norm or a stereotype, to not have to feel as if I didn't matter. And so now when you talk about police killings and all that stuff, I felt like as a Black woman, nobody wanted me. And I wasn't put on this earth for that. And right. I knew I was great because I did businesses before. I was top class. I had a great career. So it's like, I know I'm great, but I was still suffocating. Mm-hmm. And so that's when I came up with the ideas. Like, I think I need to leave America for a while. Gotcha. And I utilized the talents that I knew I had. And at the time that was teaching, and started looking at international teaching careers. And I used that as my platform to just get away.
Lastly, resources. That kind of follows all the examples of research I just mentioned, but J Essence is a resource, and we used her website, My Cousin Connection, and her YouTube channel, J Essence Journey, to give us ideas about what Kigali, Rwanda was like. That came because of just Googling different terms. What is life in Rwanda like? What shots do you need, if any, when you travel to Rwanda? What paperwork? Based on certain kinds of questions, eventually people like J Essence and others come up, tagged with specific countries. And so a resource like J Essence, My Cousin Connection, let me talk about that. MyCousinConnection.com and J Essence Journey on YouTube is something of a concierge service. It's a buddy system, as described on the website. It's a buddy system of resources, news articles, YouTube lives, printable, downloadable PDFs that are just being regularly updated by Jay and her team of local specialists in Kigali, Rwanda, about life in Rwanda to help make the transition for expats from anywhere to Rwanda a lot more smooth. So she takes who you are, what you need out of life, what quality of life you're looking for. She'll answer your questions to the best of her ability, and it's a resource. It's not the only one for Africa, because there are many countries, again, 54 countries, that comes to the research again. There may be Facebook groups, there may be podcasts dedicated to updates about any given country. So in your research, you will find specific resources about the places that you want to go. And just know they're out there. We experienced a lot of help from J Essence's resources. There's plenty that we could have used. We used what worked for us for our journey. And that's okay. It's just a journey. Some people might need to subscribe to something. Some people might need to take a course in something to learn more about the country that they want to go to. That's fine. Some people just might need to subscribe to a YouTube channel or to follow on Twitter or Instagram a particular resource. If that's all you need to do, that's enough. Just keep it moving. Continue to compile your research. Continue to list the needs that you have. And just keep going from there. It's an ever-evolving experience. Remember, in all of the adjustments that you're making, there will be caveats, there will be pros and cons. For example, if you're leaving your friends and family to go make new friends and chosen family, either for 6 months living abroad or if it's a permanent move, you can always go back to your country of origin. In this case, if you're American, you can always go back to the United States. And your friends and family can always come and visit you. That's up to you guys to work out, based on how close you are, your connection. Like, for real, this is real stuff that you have to think about. And you have to be honest with yourself and with your community about. But those are things that it's possible. It's been awesome for me to have friends and family visiting here the past year, seeing familiar faces. It's been awesome. It's not the same as just the constant of them being there, but it's something also to look forward to. And it's great to be able to update them when they're not around. So that's something. So in summary, yeah, the weapons that will help you fight to build the life that you want to make in Africa, in any given African country, is to customize and sharpen your weapons for your experience. And some of the most important weapons you will need is to reframe your attitude, reframe your emotions about the unfamiliar, about leaving possibly your friends and family. Some of you will be traveling solo. Some will be like me, traveling in a group. You have to reframe your attitude and your emotions. You will need to research and learn to research, learn to spot key information, what's important and what is not to your specific journey. You will have to learn to reframe and even refocus some of the questions that you ask people, podcast hosts, friends, family, and of course, Google. You will have to reframe and refocus some of the questions that you ask. You will have to be open to maybe open-ended questions that are not as exact as you want them to be. But many of them will be answers nonetheless that you can work with. And then last, resources like My Cousin Connection, created by J Essence Journey, concierge, community boards and concierge services with local specialists dedicated to publishing and producing video resources, write-ups, etc., about their local country or whatever country you are interested in visiting. You need to bookmark those resources. You need to buy those books. You need to buy those courses. You need to subscribe to those YouTube channels, to those Patreon accounts, whatever resonates with you and the journey that you are going on.
And but what I do feeds people. It builds jobs. Right. So that is what my motivator is. So with the YouTube, I'm going to take the good with the bad because I got to help me find the good, because the good is not about me. It's about we. There's a we with me now. There's a we, and I make sure I take care of them.
it will work out. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed those clips from J Essence Journey. Check out My Cousin Connection and J Essence Journey on YouTube. If you're interested in just seeing what other expats are up to, you don't even have to be planning to go to Rwanda if you don't want to. But maybe seeing her channel and her services will spark something in you, in your research as you go along. To all those wanting to live abroad, better yet living in Africa, I hope that Africa is everything you want and more, but I hope it works for you, whatever it is that you need it to do, okay? All right, guys, see ya.